Welcome to Bragging Rights, episode 8 of season 3. I know, I've already got it down, mate. Sponsored by Comscarf, hosted by Tribal Kingswood, as per usual. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hype us on YouTube if you're watching on there. Just before we start today, as you'll see, no Jimmy. So I just pre-warn you that unfortunately leaves me to put this together and put it out there for you to listen and watch. I will do my best. That's all I'll say.
That's all we can ask for.
That's all we can ask.
But it does mean that if it goes really wrong, you won't get anything. If it goes a little bit wrong, you might get audio only, which I know people don't like on YouTube, but it is.
Yeah.
Or if it goes pretty well, but there's a little bit of an issue, it might be that we can't edit anything. So
You get
what you don't see or hear some weeks is that we do go off the rails more than you even hear.
Oh yeah.
And we do have to go back and edit stuff out. If that happens tonight, I don't think we
I've not
can.
got the ability to do that.
No.
So Jimmy showed me how to get it out.
Yeah.
I can't pull the audio, make it sound crisp and stuff like that. So what we are putting out, how this is, it's just going to be, it is what it is.
Yeah, this could be episode 8, Panic Edition.
I'll just do my best for you guys and girls. How are we all?
Yeah, good. Finally recovered, I think, from Vegas now. I think I'm well and truly over it.
I
The
do say
jet lag and
every hour you fly back
one day.
takes a
isn't
day.
it?
Yeah. So you are about
About 8 days you were
8
looking at,
days,
but then
yeah.
obviously I just went to Berlin on the beer
you didn't help yourself
for
did you?
Susan's stag do.
Hen do.
Hen do.
And,
Yeah.
And
and
so
stag,
I got back into
as the Germans would say.
9:30 last night. And so I think any good work I did recovering from Vegas.
It's straight out of the
The
window.
voice is a bit of a giveaway.
It is a little bit, innit? I'm trying to get it
Yeah.
back. It might get a bit more normal as we go on, but
That's a 19,000 Marlboro gold that you went into.
can't complain. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I've recovered from the weekend myself. No drink involved.
I'm very surprised.
Just a trip over the Pennines. Yeah.
That
Very
must even
surprised.
think it's like not really on my phone that much, but normally if I'm like a stag do and it's somewhere like sunny, I just leave my phone. I've already discussed this before, haven't we?
Yeah.
But being in like a city break and it being a bit cooler using like jeans and a jacket, I did have it, but I'd just check it every few hours and then maybe catch up. And you did seem quite down.
So would have you. It's a good job it wasn't on telly because you'd have had a lot more ammunition to throw at me.
Yeah, if we could have found a bar to watch it.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
you
yeah.
the highlights out for your
Thank
game
God for
on
that.
YouTube. The RFL channel have put like Challenge Cup highlights out. I think there's 2 games that aren't out yet. Yours was one of them.
Yeah, the way I've seen the highlights is Leigh's own highlights, which looks like they've paid a man to record it from the stands.
Sounded like that with a Tannoy announcer as well on.
And then
Lie Guy Sue.
FC have put one on.
Lie Guy Sue.
Like I Sue.
Lie Guy Sue.
But the FC one's, I think it's like a minute long.
They only had a penalty to go for.
Right, well, we're not going first. You guys are going first. Trip to Huddersfield on Saturday, so
One is it even?
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row over to Huddersfield. Second time round better. There was a lot of things that I probably would have liked to have seen as a dress I put in the group at half time. Discipline was quite sloppy at times. But I think Peters saw it a little bit differently because he's come out and said that he was very pleased with the defence. I don't know if I've got such high standards from last season.
I'll tell you why he said it. I've noted that. We didn't even plan that. And
No,
it
we
actually
didn't,
works out
absolutely.
nicely. It's one of the few notes I've put. 'Cause it's quite a tough game to talk about.
I forgot my notepad.
Yeah.
So.
In some ways, it was sort of expected.
Yeah.
And, 52-12. I actually listened back today. Last week, as we finished, I said 54-8. I don't think that's bad going for a guess.
not at all.
On a week when there's no predictions. But I noted this. What he actually said was that he was really pleased with the defence, particularly in our own 20. Their 2 tries, one came from long range, which was a filthy offload.
That was a great try.
Then the defence was a bit sloppy trying to catch him, but broken play, you can forgive it a bit.
Yeah.
And an intercept. When was well up and was throwing the ball around. So I think that's what his comments focused on, was more when they did put any attacking shape together that wasn't off the cuff or wasn't a bit wild, that we kept him out.
Dealt with it all right, yeah. But yeah, it was just pretty much more of the same, I thought. Mikey scoring a similar try to what he scored last week. A lot of the same sort of plays as we saw last week as well. And until we got in front and then we started throwing it around, I thought. Shout out Tom Whitehead with his first try
Yeah.
in Robin's colours. Probably the easiest try you will
was that
ever
his first
score.
game as well? Was it debut for him, or
I
don't
think he
it was
got
debut.
some minutes
At
in the
York.
Challenge Cup
okay?
and
not played
then
York?
at York as well. The York one I can't confirm, but I'm certain he got minutes. Oh, I might not be certain actually. So I'm wondering if he was carrying a knock. Anyways,
I've thrown a question in there that wanting.
yeah.
Yeah, he threw us right off there.
Sorry.
Threw me right off my notes that I ain't got.
Yeah, you're right though about the point because I spoke about this last week a tiny bit, and I think me and you come to a bit of an agreement that last week I kept putting caveats in because I like to about it only being a weak Huddersfield side that we started looking like the entertainers from 2 years ago again, and we just went into full ramp mode on that. We just did it all game really, like you say, especially once we got up a few scores and it seemed the result wasn't in doubt. The only thing I've found of particular note was that it's quite nice when players step up that maybe had a quieter game the week before. So I thought Hiku was immense.
Yeah,
And it's not that he was bad last week, but he really stepped up and he was like best form really. Like
it was quiet by his standards from what we've seen over the past 2 years.
That's to be expected though after all the travelling and everything that had gone on previous to that. Not every player was going to be able to recover and get straight back into form.
It's been getting easier. We've got more travelling this week.
and
No, you're right, yeah.
I think it was nice as well that it's so hard because I'm not dogging on the player here, but compared to May, where I thought May was probably the best halfback in the league last week with the performance he put on, again against the poor Huddersfield, he then had a quieter game. We're still heavily involved and had a good game, but Mikey was really the centre of attention this game. And it's so hard because he scored 2 tries last week against him. He scored 2 this week, but last week it was all about May. This week it's about Mikey in a way, but it goes back almost repeat. We could just take last week's section and put it in. Mikey, May and Jez stood up again.
Yeah.
And when they're all clicking and players have come off the back of it. So it was just so hard to go through. Like, we're obviously pleased with the win. Really pleased in terms of the defence, in terms of only 2 tries. And yeah, all right, you don't want to concede any, but it is still only 2. And one was an intercept and one was like really off the cuff. It can't be mad when you're scoring over 50 points and you're going through the next round of the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what I was expecting from it really, but it is really a rinse and repeat, like you said, Josh, from last week, where it was just job done, wasn't it? Really, not taking anything from it. And I guess the thing is, with cup rugby, it doesn't matter whether you win by 1 or 100. Like, you're through to the next round.
Well, there's no retaliation, is there? It's not as if, all right, maybe in the line, maybe we'll get Huddersfield in the playoffs and they'll do 1 over on us, or maybe, but it doesn't count, does it?
We'll get Huddersfield. We're both getting relegated. We're talking next season.
Bottom 6 playoff. But yeah, you are one and done when you play these teams, and then it's over. And for us, who are hoping to defend, it's going to be such a hard task this year to try and go back to back in any that we won last year. It's that one step closer, and really, what's the best chance? Challenge Cup or good draws, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now we're going to get onto yours, but you guys are out. So it's not as if we've got that potential stumbling block where anything can happen on a derby. And
you've got your bogey team Leeds out.
Yeah.
Leeds, who have been looking immense, are out and deservedly out because Wakey were the better side.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying we're going to go on and win it. It's only the quarterfinals, and the draw is tomorrow night, so Tuesday night for those watching and listening. So Tuesday morning, is it?
Yeah. I'm still on live with Helen Skelton.
Still on bell in time, aren't I?
Even still, it'd still be 11:20.
So we'll find out. But I was pleased. There was no complacency. There was a couple of things could have done better overall. There's one player I wanted to talk about just a bit. I think this guy might have a really big season for us. And I think it's quite important given that last year he had a big injury and went off for a while. And it's actually Reece Martin. He has been carrying well, I think. And I think quietly being quite consistent. He's maybe had a quiet game here and there. We're only a few games into the season, but he hasn't really looked bad. Everyone looked bad in Vegas, so that don't count. But the try that he set up for Mikey, where he did the perfect little kick through to Mikey to pounce on, was sublime.
Yeah.
That was probably my favourite try of the day to watch back. Everything clicked really nicely. But he was also 8 from 9 off the tee. So, and I said about this to you guys at the game last week, that when Mikey took the first conversion, I didn't like it. Because he can kick and he can step up when he wants to, like he did in the Challenge Cup final last year. But Morg and Martin are much better players. And
kickers.
They're better kickers, sorry, in terms of players we've got available, I should have said. And so it's good when he's on and he can take the kicks. Because 8 from 9's a great goal.
You'll finish I mean, what's that? 8 from 9?
I'd say 80%, don't they?
80% roughly there or thereabouts.
No, but that's what they say. 80% is
Should be
like
a top
what
level
a top
kicker.
level
Yeah.
kicker
That's
should
what
be at.
Sinfield used to kick. I think he finished his career with like 83, possibly. I might be a little bit off of that, but I'm sure it was around about 83. But another player I was really impressed with, and I thought had a superb game, was Tom Amon. We saw some real. Obviously, we've seen it in the past when he was at Leigh. The potential that he has to be what we call a big bopper. You know, busting.
He's more than that.
Busting. He is, but we saw that side of him in this game. And again, like Josh said, it's only Huddersfield, but you can only play what's in front of you. And he did that. It was taking 3 or 4 men to get him down every single time, and it didn't even look like sometimes he was running at full potential. Like, we didn't get out of second gear in that game at all. I don't think one player got out of second gear without.
No, and I think that I've actually thought about this, and it's just coming back to me. But I think that we was guilty as a podcast coming into this year of focusing heavily more on the recruitment for Hull, because it was a much bigger recruitment pool. Rovers had announced all their recruitment pretty early on in proceedings, so there wasn't a lot to go on. And when we talk about big boppers and being impact players, there was a lot more to talk about, from when is SASA going to be back, when's Asiata going to be back, and what is Sam Lasoni going to do for you guys, that we almost stepped away and forgot about, really, that we had Amoni to come in and how he was going to partner with Jesse Sue. And now we saw it obviously in the World Cup Challenge, and we've obviously wrecked Broncos now. They can't win a game because that's how dominant we are. And obviously we've now lost the World Cup Challenge, because the way it works is that Wakefield are now World Cup champions because they've beat Leeds.
Yep.
You know, by law of attrition, that's how it works. But we actually didn't speak about it too much and just said we want Amoni to step up and be great. And I think he's starting to hit that now. If we can stay injury-free in the middle, we're going to start to see that now, because actually you've got them two coming in and out from each other, mixed with Whitbread, but then mixed with young lads like Whitehead getting a go, added on to how good our second rows are in Martin and then Dino. And actually, it goes back to last year where Touchwood kept on top of the injuries. We've still got 3 or 4. We have been tainted by this. We're going to talk about injuries later on in the pod, but we have still got some. If we can keep them going, they're actually a couple of big boppers to play off each other between Sue and Amoni. They can do what we spoke about you guys doing, attracting a lot of defenders, making space out wide and gaps in defence.
It's like you don't get any respite from the big runners, isn't it? Because Sue will do 20 minutes, Simone will come on, do 20 minutes. Sometimes they'll both play together if needed. But yeah, another player, you spoke about injuries there, another player who stepped up, I thought, was Jack Broadbent.
Yeah.
Who was very, very good, secure under the high ball, looked dangerous running, and we saw sort of, again, a lot of the Jack from last season that we saw.
It must be nice for him. Obviously not how he got his place back in the team, obviously with Morg's injury, but knowing he's going to get a settled run at one position, which he's not really had, has he?
He played centre quite a bit, didn't he, when Gilly was out?
Yeah, but this is like, what, 12 weeks he's going to be at minimum. A good run at fullback for himself.
Well, I think, look, this just going slightly off topic on it, but we're staying with the fullback position. Rovers did play young Ryan Hampshire at fullback for the reserves this weekend against FC. Sorry, Paul.
No, it's all right.
And these rumours around that, he's been invited to train with us and to keep fit, and he's been given a chance. It doesn't look like he's going to sign for us, but lots of teams have got fullback problems at the minute, and Jack Broadbent is a utility player. So Jack did himself no fault whatsoever in putting himself up there and saying, you don't need to worry about him. This is my position while Morg's out. Because last year, you know, everyone kept screaming, like, how can you not put Broadbent in, but where do you put him?
Where do you put him when we're playing?
Now he's such a good utility when you've got these injuries. And by all accounts, you know, the Hampshire is more of a rumour. He did play for us at weekend, but he will be going off elsewhere.
It's just a training contract, I think, isn't it? But
good on Broadbent for saying, actually, no, it's my position.
Putting his hand up and saying, it's give Peters no reason not to trust him, has he, to throw him in every game moving forward. I don't really think there's much else to say on his.
No, I'm worried it'd be a bit boring. We've just found out that we're talking then about goal kicking. We can just say that it came out that Sinfield ended up between 80 and 81%. It meant that roughly
far off.
Yeah, every 4 of every 5 kicks he took, he made. So
that's impressive.
But Martin's got to be up there, and we ain't got the stats on it, but he does make a lot. You know, he got the record error in the season, all right, against a Challenge Cup amateur side, where he hit 14, you know, in a game for a record for us. In games like this against a poor Super League opposition, he's making 8 from 9, and they weren't all under the sticks.
No,
it's a massive, massive benefit to us. But I ain't got much else to add. Just so pleased to have the win to go through. It's so nice to feel as though the team's clicking and maybe getting over that jet lag and that defeat not being as clunky. And
That's a throw.
We haven't used that one in a while.
No, we haven't. Have we? I thought it was feeling a bit left out. So I thought
Caveat's been getting a good showing at the minute.
hasn't it? Yeah, it's had a good run.
But yeah, as I say, I think it probably gives me a bit of confidence going into Catalan this weekend. But from me, there's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
So see you see you next week on the pod.
Oh, I'm happy with that. Let's go.
What else from you to finish, Craig?
No, just massive shout out to the fans who did manage to travel. You know, it's been a long old poke with, we've had the World Cup Challenge, we've had Vegas, and then we've had all away games this season. So it's very tough on the bank account. Like
2,000 travelling fans when you've played them away the week before.
Yeah.
More than they've got home fans.
I was just going to say, did you see the video of someone who was stood in the stand opposite the main stand, videoing it? There was a video circulating, and I only got showed it today, and it showed the Huddersfield fans in the main stand, about 200 or 300 of them, I don't know. And then you panned around to the away end, and it was very full, shall we say?
Yeah.
Take it with a pinch of salt. Mike Abel texted me late on Saturday evening. I think they had between 500 and 750 fans.
Wow.
I'd say that's generous.
Wow.
For the video that I saw, I'd say it's generous.
Well, it was 2,000 at the last count, so it would have been over 2,000.
Yeah.
Obviously, the stand will look half empty because it holds like 4,000, 5,000 that stand, doesn't it? But like I say, to take that many away after everything we've been through and what we've seen for us was quite poor form, apart from the Broncos game and maybe last week against, again, a poor Huddersfield side. It's just superb following. So a massive shout out to everybody who was able to go. And I wonder what numbers we'll see this week at Catalan.
Aye.
But we'll see. Before we finally get a home game. Long time coming, but that's about it from me.
It'll be unusual this first home game where we're going to end up going, and it'll be the first time it's not February freezing and we're all wrapped up. It might even be a bit sunny.
I'm a bit intrigued, but we'll get into it in the preview about what we're doing about World Cup Challenge. Because now that dust has sort of settled on that, and we're a few games into the season now. So I'll be interested to see where we go.
Stay tuned, spoiler.
Yeah, stay tuned until next week.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaf. Hull's own Comscaf have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaf.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
Right, let's do your mob, if you must.
Shall I start on a few positives?
No, finish
Before
on
it goes,
positives.
no,
I was
not
hoping
positives.
that you was going to have both chairs and jump back and forth as if it was Jimmy. You would have like a little, like, I don't know, like a mop or something to put on your head and pretend it was him and
Jekyll and Dean.
Some fluff.
Jekyll and Dean.
Jekyll and Dean.
Lovely bit of business.
So I am going to start on some positives because I want to, and he's not here to tell me otherwise. The reserves. 2 from 3 this season, but it wasn't just any old fixture. It was a derby win. I don't know if it's Danny Houghton's first as a head coach. Well, I say head coach, as a reserves coach. So, torrid conditions is what I saw in the write-up. It wasn't very nice at all.
Yeah.
Was it not?
No.
It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, Saturday, Sunday.
I would know because I played charity football yesterday.
All night roll into one.
I was soaked. 26-10 victors against yourselves, so good result for the reserves. Like I said, 2 out of 3 for the season so far, so good on them. And another bit of positive news, which I've seen. Hull FC, top of the fan engagement index. Now, that doesn't tell the full story. So, yourselves and Warrington are second. An annually detailed report due out in April, but it will show that Castley, Saints and Wakey finished with 0. But even as top, Hull FC only scored a score out 60 out of 240. So it sounds like there's a lot of work to be done. But you can only start when you start. So
this nearly got included in last week's news, and then it's on me because I didn't take the time to digest the information properly. And I do think maybe down the line we might have a bit of a bigger discussion about it.
I think when the report comes out in April, we might be able to have a good discussion about it.
Yeah, you could see the preview, and it's interesting that there is scoring on different levels, and there are some areas where like FC have scored quite highly. I think one of them is like specific fan engagement over social media, and you get certain points for the amount of posts and reacting to stuff where Rovers have scored poorer than FC, but then on a flip side, there's ones where FC have scored low and Rovers have scored, and it really needs some time to be broken down. I need to take some time to digest it.
Yeah.
It's good, you know, for your club to be seeing that, and obviously good for us to be second, third, whatever we are as well. But yeah, we'll do some time on that when the full report comes out.
Definitely so, yeah. And end of section. Nothing else happened this weekend.
Just quickly on the
no,
fans.
I'm going to have to get into it, aren't
Yeah,
we?
just quickly on the fans there, because you mentioned the fan index or whatever it's called, fan engagement index or whatever it's called. 2,000 from Rovers-ish. How many from all went to Leigh?
I heard there was 1,100, 1,200 tickets
Right.
pre-sale. It felt like there was about, the stand was about 2,000, probably 1,500.
1,500, so that's 3.5. City probably sold out their allocation.
Yeah, City was away at West Brom.
Away at West Brom, which was what, probably
2.5
2.5.
Yeah.
Nearly 5,000 travelling fans there from one city
on the same day.
on the same day.
Same time kick-off.
Yeah.
That's great effort.
Unbelievable. That, like, just shows how much of as a city we engage with our sporting teams.
Definitely.
And don't forget, there'll be people who usually go to Rovers or Hull who've probably gone to City, or vice versa, have gone to City and usually go to Rovers. So that's superb. That 5-ish thousand. I just thought I'd give that a quick nod.
Yeah, quality from all fans concerned.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna have to get into it.
Up the
I'm
hole.
gonna have to.
As a whole.
FC fans, I don't think you'll enjoy these next 10 minutes or so. Rovers fans, I'm sure you'll revel in it. And Josh will more than likely. Well, I'll more than likely set myself up for a few slide digs off Josh. So, yeah. I'll touch on the game a little bit, but concerned is a massive understatement for me. Not just with what happened on Saturday, because that was pretty much more or less rinse and repeat from our frailties the week before against Wakefield. But just, yeah, that's exactly
You
how
can see
I
how
felt.
difficult it is for you to break it down.
I'm glad we didn't do this on Saturday or yesterday, because I was just fuming. All the way home, I was just fuming, in a sulk on Saturday. Not happy yesterday. I'm not great now having to relive it. It's the same thing week in, week out at the minute. It's in attack, we look lacklustre, predictable, clueless. I've got robotic written down in it here. We just got no respect for the ball. Basics upon ill discipline with and without the ball is just shocking. In D, we look all right. We look okay in D, but we've got to remember we come up against a Leigh side who are basically down to the bare bones. They've got both ones out,
18,
the 9 out,
18
so it's gone to
and they
18
lost
today.
2 players on Saturday as well. So yes, defensively we looked okay, but wait until we come up against a Leeds side that's going to be stinging from last week and yourselves in a couple of weeks. I don't know if that D can hold up. You mentioned last week, when will Hull FC throw anything other than the wide to Martin ball? We tried that numerous times on Saturday. They just cut it out. They knew exactly what we was going to do. That is all we had.
A bundle into touch 2, 3 times.
Yeah, because they just doubled up on him.
Yeah,
And it
looked like he got banged about a bit. Do you know what I mean?
he did. But they knew what play we was going to run, because we had nothing else to offer. They knew what we was going to do, and it was easy for them to deal. We are such an easy side to D up against. All you have to do is stay flat and just move with the ball. And I know it's easy. It's easy to do, like for us to say, "Oh, that's easy to defend against." For a top-class Super League team, it's easy to defend against.
Yeah.
I love being right. There's no denying that.
Bet you do.
But all the things I've said about what's going to happen in this game, my predictions and the way I think you're playing as a club, doesn't take anyone with half a brain could see it coming. Told you it'd be low scoring because they're banged up and injured, but you don't know what to do other than pass it one way, and you've got one play at the minute. You did that and it didn't work out. You've got a half-back in Jake Arthur who I don't really know what he's doing.
Can I just say, before we get on to Jake Arthur, I was messaging James today. I says, "Is it too early for me to go in at Jake Arthur?" He said yes. But all I'll say is he was brought in to help lead our team. I would not trust him to lead my dog around the park for a walk at the minute.
Yeah. There's a few examples in the game for me. I mean, it wasn't televised properly and the highlights were a bit poor, so I'm just throwing in my 2 pence worth from some highlights and that. But when it's just not your day and you can tell your team is really not clicking, there was a few things that happened that I think just tell the story of Hull FC at the minute. So I think one of them is the Lamb try. That's just weak. And yet it's disappointing because Hull's defence isn't that bad.
No.
And in that game, you still kept them to only 16 points. And yet, that one just felt a bit cheeky.
It felt a bit dirty from an
Felt
outback.
wrong.
Yeah.
Then you've got the try for you guys from Cust, right? Great vision, great work. So funny because that's what you'll get from Cust. Okay. But you're not, because you'll just keep putting Burrow there. Again, that doesn't take a genius to see that. And then the final one, sorry to bang on a bit, but that really told the story of your game, I think, was how many times is Litton going to make a break like he did? Whether he should have made it or not, because maybe the ball was a knock-on before and we don't know, but it looked okay on the dodgy potato video I've seen.
I thought it was a knock-on at the game, but
Yeah.
I've not seen it back.
But I love Josh Charnley. I always have done. But
I got flash. Sorry, go on, carry
I
on.
was going to say,
Did he flash you as well?
yeah,
Oh.
superhuman effort, because not very often is Litton going to get chased down when he's that far away, especially from a guy who's well into his 30s now, who at the end of last year was almost talking about leaving Super League level and was maybe going to Oldham, who not only chased him down, made the tackle, forced a knock on from a player that probably 9 times out of 10 is going the full length of that field and not getting caught by most players apart from a Jai Field, to then not long after, Charnley's the one that forces the dropout by defending so well and piling on in your in goal. And I thought, you're just not getting anything today.
He started that chase from the touchline. He was out of play when the ball, he'd stepped out of touch. I got flashbacks, so I won't say flash, I got flashbacks of Jamie Shaw in the 2013 Challenge Cup final when he broke free against Wigan.
Yeah.
And Charnley was the guy who chased back and did that and knocked the ball out. Yeah, just horrible flashbacks that. I said earlier I was concerned, and I really am. And more so, not because we're out the cup. That's not. I wanted a cup run. No secret that I backed us to win it, but that was more heart over head.
So that kills you in it, dude.
Yeah, it certainly is. I don't just see this as a dip in form. I struggle to see us getting out of what I think's a rut at the minute. It's clear to see we lack flair, we lack speed, we lack some strike. Definitely lack some strike. And I'll go to what Dan Tomlinson said in one of his. Sorry, I should have had this ready. In one of his posts on Hull Live, he said, "Alarm bells are ringing. Things have to improve soon before it's too late. They need a spark from somewhere that's blindingly obvious. Whether that's a new recruit lies up for debate. But he's actually mentioned here, obviously, fullback, prop. But he's mentioned back road hooker. And we had a comment earlier on in the week. And I forgot your name, sorry. Oh, Alex Everson. Don't know why every LFC fan is obsessed with getting fullback. We need a second row. And he's not wrong. I actually had on my notes last week areas to improve, second row. But we just lack any sort of strike, any sort of flair. You see the players are there. The players are there to see. We know that Asiata, Caesar and hopefully Arthur are going to control the play. But unless they've got genuine threat and strike for teams to worry about, it's going to lead to nothing, unfortunately.
I've noted a question to ask you on this, and I'm glad we've come round to it that way. I've read Cartwright Senior's comments afterwards. Errors and penalties are where we're going wrong. I don't agree.
No, I don't agree.
Everyone makes errors and penalties. Everyone's adjusting to new ruck rules. I agree. The best terminology is that you don't have any strike. You have strike players, but they're not being utilised. You're not clicking. You're not getting there quick enough. And obviously, as always happens, you start to get the murmurings now. And I'm not standing here saying Cartwright out. I'm not. But there was a lot of negativity online, a lot of negativity around fans. And it's too early to be talking about stuff like that. But my one frustration this year, and I'm not a Hull fan to take it with a pinch of salt. When Cartwright first came in for you guys, I was quite a staunch praiser of him, saying I loved his passion, I loved the way he spoke after the games, I thought he was measured, he approached post-match comments really well, and he was quite honest. I feel like he hasn't been very honest in these opening of the season, and it's sort of not hiding behind, but he's not really pinpointing the actual problems. He hides behind other issues. How do you feel about that? Am I far off, or...?
You're saying a lot of things that were said in the stands. Not just last week, not just this week, but last week as well. I don't doubt Cartwright and the coaching staff yet. I'm not there yet. My gripe is with how the players are performing. And maybe I can be a bit critical towards the coaching staff if I'm being honest, though. Like, we haven't got the players out there to be able to change it. But is that down to them or is that down to recruitment? I don't know who makes that decision. But you're not far wrong. I'm not going to lie about that. Onto the fan base. I've just mentioned it. The fan base. They're going to lose patience. Now, I class myself as a pretty level-headed fan. I've been up there, I've been down there more than most, supporting my club. Some fans ain't going to be patient for long, and that's my real worry.
I think that's sport in general, and
it is sport in general. But when you're supporting a team that's had so many false promises over the years, and this isn't this ownership's fault. This is past ownerships. Yeah, we're going to challenge top four. We're going to challenge, and then we finished halfway down the table, or we finished near the bottom, or we're going to do this, and we don't do it. Yeah, you've got no God-given right to do that. But when you've had so many false promises, this fan base isn't going to be patient for long. And unfortunately, as the fault is not at the ownership now, but they're going to have to deal with this. They're trying to build this team up and get the fans back on side. Saving up, I'm going to say it, shit like we have done for the past few weeks, ain't going to help that.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
It comes from the right place, though, doesn't it? Like, it comes from a place of passion.
Yeah.
You want to see your team do well, and then it comes out in terms of frustration.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, of course it is. And we've discussed this, the fans of the city who support our sporting teams and how passionate they are. They'll travel in numbers no matter what. But we've got every right to that frustration. If we have a bad day at the office, we're entitled to say we've had a bad day at the office. If you're having a bad half start of the season, I'll call it half start of the season because we're only like 5 rounds in.
We're 4 rounds into it. There's 23 rounds left, and I feel wrong for talking like this.
This is what's so confusing, because it's not just you, Dean. It's not just you on this podcast. There's a lot of vibe and a lot of mentality around the whole fans at the minute that's in some ways quite shocking that it is so downbeat.
Is it maybe because we let our expectations rise a little bit?
I think
rightly or wrongly.
I think 2 things. I think you got a little bit too excited at the end of last year. I think that there was that little push if we could make the playoffs, and I said at the time, you're kidding yourselves if you think that you're better than Wakey will make the 6. You would be undeserving to make the 6, because it was a bit of a fairy tale, and some of the games that you did win didn't really mask the fact that you lost games that you shouldn't have lost. And it all worked out well in the end, obviously, for us, but I think in terms of a Super League, the right teams made it. You made the
table
playoffs,
don't lie at the end of the year.
but then you made all the right noises in the off-season. I don't believe you made the right recruitment drive. I don't believe you recruited the right players, right? And that's sort of coming to fruition now with ageing players with injuries. And unfortunately, some of the poor predictions are on people like Will Price getting injured, which is so terrible. We know that. We want him to be out there playing. You're now coming down and people have let themselves get a bit too excited. And it's almost like this time last year, it was this Jesus Christ, well, FC might do something this year. Whereas now everyone's forgot. You lose goodwill like that.
We haven't got that element of surprise which we had last year.
No.
We had an element of surprise where we were turning up to Wigan twice and shot the absolute life out of them. We're playing you guys where you'd absolutely dicked us the last 2 years, and we're actually giving you games, and we're going to Leeds and nearly winning. And yeah,
what I would say on that, because I don't want to sound too nice about it, for FC fans, I can't tell you what to do. And heavens knows I'm the last person to listen to. But I would say just a bit more patience.
Oh yeah,
4 or 5 rounds. This can turn around quite quickly.
It can do, but changes need to be made within the playing, how we are playing, how we are setting up, whether that's bringing people in, changing the structure, how we're playing. It's too predictable. Everything's through Asiata and it's going left to Martin. It's as simple as that. I can see it. Everyone else can see it. Things have to change. Like I say, if that's bringing somebody in to help out, we don't want to just make rash signings, that's for sure. But if we are bringing someone in quicker, sooner rather than later would be a lot better. I just want to talk on a couple of players. One thing I did notice, when Amir got subbed on Saturday, there was sarcastic cheers from the away end, which I'm not Amir's fan. I don't like that though. Like, that's going to not help him one little bit. Yeah, I'm not his biggest fan. I think hooker is a place we really need to strengthen, but in the heat of the game, watching the game when a player's trying to do his best for the club, there's no doubt about that. Sarcastically cheering him off the pitch isn't going to help anyone.
The whole fans cheered him.
Yeah.
That's usually who sits in the away end at Leigh Sportsfield.
I didn't realise it said
he'd had a long weekend, leave him alone. Arthur, yeah, had a little tongue-in-cheek jab there. Still, we didn't see a lot from him on Saturday. We haven't seen a lot from him yet. jury's out on
Did
that
he
one.
play Union? Is that why he always kicks out on the full? Is he
Twice, but Lamb kicked out on the full half an hour later. One thing that we did find funny, there was two guys sat in front of us, and then far end, there's no screen. There was a screen, but it wasn't showing any replays because it wasn't the telly. So far end, and Arthur shows this dummy, and for all you think, he's sailing through this gap and going to the try line. But he sells this dummy, he goes through the gap, and then it looks like he runs backwards. Now, I've not seen it because it won't be on the highlights, but that guy, the guy in front of me went, he's just gone for a fluffy gap and then ran backwards. What's it? And the guy just turning around looking for someone to like engage with, just in total shock.
I reckon we did see some good from Jake Arthur, and that was his carvery plate at Wigan, and I think he's still struggling from that.
He did have it, pal.
Yeah, he did have it, pal. I'll finish on this. I'll criticise when I see fit, but I'll praise in equal measure. Leigh South. He went really well on Saturday. Definitely one of our better players. Said I'd eat my words if he carries on and has a good season for us. Time will tell on that one, but he had a good game on Saturday. So, like I say, praise and criticise in equal measure. But yeah, don't we just love the roller coaster of rugby league and supporting?
While we do it.
So, as always, at Tribal this week, you can get down and come and watch any of the rugby matches that are televised.
Should be all of them.
Should.
Super League.
Well, interestingly, in the news section, we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
I can't confirm whether Rovers will be shown here or not.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There is something happened with that. I think they will be, but they've been moving around. That's definitely on red button. But as always, most of the games will be shown. I'm pretty sure Tribal will figure it out. But make sure you get down if you want to come and enjoy a couple of drinks or some food. If you do come down, don't forget your pass. We'll probably say that a couple of times tonight, just because I'm pleased that our Rovers pass has finally come through.
Don't get me started on mine.
But I don't have the specifics. But you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, because the old game's on Sunday. So if you're not going to the games or you're at a loss, get yourselves down here, enjoy some food, enjoy some drink, get some discount and watch the rugby. If there is anything else happening at Tribal, quizzes, music nights, whatever, they'll be posted on social media and we'll retweet them and repost them as well. So keep an eye out.
Sorted. Right, onto the comments section. We're really going to go into depth on one question, really, but
Probably all we'll have time for.
Is it a food question?
he's not
Gary
asked one
needs
in a
to up
while.
his game. Gary,
Is it? Did Josh eat an Easter egg at 2 o'clock this afternoon in between meetings? Yes, it is. Yeah.
Did he really? So, as usual, thanks for the comments. We do enjoy reading them. Our usuals, Matthew Sunman, Barry Bratton, Gary Leigh. It's good to see Liam Acton and Josh's bromance seems to be blossoming with every passing week. Already mentioned Alex Iverson. Rob Parker, your comments about the audio, I think we've cleared that up at the start of the pod, but there's one comment I really want to get into, and that's one from a friend of mine. Bloke called Sean. So he messaged me literally just after we finished recording last week. Did a little research today, and there were 92 players injured across Super League before the games kicked off last weekend. Fullbacks seeming to be cursed at the moment. Not having the full fact, I see a bit of a pattern happening. I'm wondering if the new speed of ruck rules and the fact players are being so heavily penalised for any contact with the head. Are players over fatigued? Are they actively tackling lower down, thus causing extra problems? Add to that heavy pitches after so much rain. Do you think it's all contributing, or am I just barking up the wrong tree? With the fullbacks, Price, is it Taffer from Cass? Taff. Fletcher Rooney in our levels, George Flanagan out of Morg, Deck Murphy, Armstrong, Bailey, Wellesby, Field. French was injured while playing at fullback. Take into account the fullback carries the ball more than any other player, and for most parts the most meters and high energy broken play carries. Is it all a coincidence, or am I onto something here? I'd love to hear people's opinions on it. But shortly after, there was an article.
Yeah, so this has obviously been a big talking point in Rugby League World the last couple of weeks, and I think we've and ahhed and gone back and forth a bit about whether to bring it up in the news or discuss it, 'cause it's so obvious, it's almost not news, but it come out sort of a week ago with a great article that looked to address this, and I think everybody wants to know what's going on. You know, it's unprecedented the amount of injuries. I think it was 90 odd going in last week. At the minute, it was 89 when I was coming to recording today. By the time I got out of the car, I got a message to say it was 90 injured because Saints had announced one more being injured. So we're getting close to that 100 players. It's a lot of people.
It's an average of almost 7 per team.
Yeah, and every team does have at least one. The only team that seems to be quite unaffected, and touch wood, you don't want anyone to be injured. Wakey's latest report had one person, maybe two at the most, but it's obviously not great. Some teams like Hull are obviously really badly affected. I think you're number one, not the number one position you'd like to keep. But
Definitely not.
nah,
You've got more than Huddersfield.
they did have when they first went to the thing, but I don't know if they do now. It all depends on who you're reporting. But the point of this article, I'd say go have a look at it, but we'll discuss it briefly now, is there something going on? There's a lot of fullbacks out at the minute, a lot of teams, including both of our clubs, that have got long-term injuries. And the question that's simple is something sinister going on? Or is this just a massive coincidence? And what I like about his article is that it really goes into detail about the fact that, yes, we have big significant changes. We have the new ruck rule. The game is becoming quicker. Is this adding to it? And there's no evidence to suggest that it's adding to any of these injuries. And look, it doesn't happen in the NRL, where they play much quicker rules and ruck rules anyways. But the argument being is fullbacks do tend to cover the most distance on a pitch. You know, they swing from side to side more. They join tackles and attacks from different positions. They tend to be involved in more positions. And they tend to play, roughly speaking, you know, all the time, they tend to be playing a quicker game than the rest of the players on the field. They're not getting involved in bad ways. And if you actually look at the players, 3 of the players that have been injured, so Blake Taff, Will Price and David Armstrong, they are ACL injuries. And, you know, Price is occurred in contact. You've got 2 players in Fletcher Rooney and Bevan French who had hamstring injuries in games. Now, French, someone fell on him. That's how it happened. He wasn't going to attack. He wasn't going around a slow ruck. He wasn't trying to clear a ruck. It's got nothing to do with that. A player just fell on him. Now Evalds, muscular injury in his leg. He pulled up in training with a calf problem. It was nothing to do with the game. He was in training. And then you look at Wellesby, Morgan, George Flanagan. Their injuries have got nothing to do with it. I mean, Flanagan come
Contact.
flying down from a challenge in the ball. We all saw that last week and landed awkwardly. More awkward contact of a shoulder injury. So it sounds bad when we say about these, but the reality is there isn't. Deck Murphy went down, no one near him. Bailey Hodgson, you know, Jai Field's gone. Appendicitis. It's got nothing to do with the new ruck rules. So the conclusion is, and it does say this in the article, but I do think we should keep discussing it to see what happens, is that there is no obvious trend. And while some of the injuries are contact injuries, that's always going to happen in rugby league. If all of the injuries were purely muscular, then I think there might be more to look at and talk about. Also, if every injury was in the knee, where you tend to get a lot of these ACL, PCL, MCL injuries, but the reality is that isn't what's happened. And I know we're all trying to find the guy that did this, right? Who's injuring all these players. But the reality is there just isn't any correlation. And, all right, maybe we'll find something in the future. But right now, there is no evidence to suggest that there's anything to look at.
These athletes, what they are more finely tuned now than they've ever been. Their bodies are working at the peak of what anybody in that trade, should you say, has worked at before. They've never been worked as hard, and I think you're always going to get more injuries when that type of when it's like that. Maybe.
See, I don't blame the ruck rules. I just don't. It's like Josh said. If they are more muscular injuries and things like that, then yeah, you could probably say it's due to overuse, overwork, this, that, and the other. But a lot of them are contact injuries, or like just running injuries, which anybody can get. And obviously, as you mentioned there, Jai Field's appendicitis, which is a rare one. I don't think there's been many rugby players down with appendicitis over the past 20 years that I'm aware of.
Remember a certain Sean Briscoe.
Well, yeah, but I said
game before a cup final.
I said,
was that yeah, I think it was appendicitis.
Yeah, I said many, but obviously there's going to be some, but not many. But I don't think it's anything to do with the new ruck rules. I just think it's just one of those things. Hopefully, touch wood, later on in the season, we'll get those injury levels down to 20, 30 players.
Yeah, when the ground firms up a little bit.
Yeah,
the pitches at this time of year, they don't help. It is worse to
Then
play.
there'll be no talk about, the ruck rules are too fast. because all the injuries have
Bodies have got used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been questioning. They've had conversations with Matty Pete. They've spoke to some people at Saints, some other guys, to ask their opinion. Everyone's on the same sort of a wavelength. There's no correlation here, but let's review it midway through the year. And look, we could all be wrong. We could turn out something stupid's happened, and all of a sudden it is affecting everybody. And I don't know what it is. I'll make something up. The ball's got one less PSI level of pressure in it, and that's
not an 8-panel ball.
Yeah, but yeah, whatever it is. But
Can't you tell you're talking about ball and PSI being a New England fan?
Absolute bullshit. That never did that long.
No, like that drone up there. Yeah, no.
But we'll see. But I think it's a great question, and I think that go away read the article if you want, or just take our word for it. But if someone does come to light, we'll definitely talk about it. But right now, there is no correlation.
No.
Jacob Host as well, broken leg. It's not a thing of the ruck, is it? That's just an accident.
Well, there's a variety of injuries, but there's just more of them at the minute.
Well, let's say there's 90 injuries then. How many fullbacks are out? 7, 8 at the minute?
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Less than 10%?
Yeah.
So we're talking about a fullback crisis, and the way that it's around the ruck speed, and the reality isn't that. The reality is that we've got a bit of an injury crisis across the sport, with players in a lot of positions injured.
Yeah. I think that about sums it up.
Yeah. Thank you for
Great
that.
question,
yeah, it is a good question, and it's something we did need to actually speak about because we haven't really gone into depth on it, but we will keep across it as the season progresses. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, questions, yeah, keep them coming.
Absolutely.
We will discuss. On some news. Don't you dare. Jimmy's not here to give you a sarcastic
news
laugh.
From around the world.
So there's no need to discuss injuries, but yeah, it was just, I did have it noted, and as I was walking it changed, but we'll see what the weekend brings. But, we're getting up towards 100 players injured going in, and it's not great. So that is going to be news every week going forward until something happens, but it is what it is. I did allude earlier to about changes in the TV schedule. The BBC, after announcing quite early on, pre-season announced this for this coming Saturday, that they would be showing KR and Catalan on free-to-air TV. They've announced a change this week. They're not going to show Rovers and Catalan. They're going to show Wire and Cass, which is at the slightly earlier time of 3 p.m, I believe, whereas Rovers are at 5:30 UK time. And the reason behind this is that there's a scheduling conflict with the World Indoor Championships that are in Poland, and it means that the Rovers game will not be able to be shown on free-to-air TV.
Athletics is taking priority over rugby league.
So Rovers game will still be on Red Button, but Red Button only, and on Sky Sports Red Button, and that's how you'll see it. Whereas on Sky Sports Plus and the Red Button or whatever, but yeah, it won't be on BBC, and they've swapped it for the earlier Wire and Cass game.
That's pretty ridiculous. So close.
But not even just because it's Rovers, just in general as rugby league. That's athletic. It's taking over.
Prime time spot as well on a Saturday, 5 p.m. Probably, people getting the kids home and just it's still starting to get dark, calming them down before they watch Gladiators and have a takeaway or whatever. Well, what's on TV, on free-to-air TV? Bit of rugby league. Could be, I'm not saying...
Because Catalan crowd against the champions.
Neutral fans, is this a team in France? Are they the Dragons? And who's this Hulky? Apparently they won everything last year. That's what they're commentating anyways. I'm not saying Wire and Cass won't be good, but at that earlier time at 3 p.m. when it clashes with football, etc.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to see it.
I'll be at football.
Yeah.
I've got his passes.
So there you go, you see. Next one, Wakey and Leeds for their Challenge Cup game on Friday night drew an average audience of 162,931 viewers. This was the highest on record for a stream of a Challenge Cup game. So that's good news that on the one side, these changes that we're getting, but some of the ones that we had in the past week got some good numbers in.
Cracking game.
Yeah, really good game.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I did.
I don't think Beth enjoyed it, but I enjoyed watching it.
What's interesting about this one, when was the last time do you think that Wakefield beat Leeds in the Challenge Cup?
I know this one, so I'm going to... Well, I know roughly, so I'm going to stick with
don't
it.
even...
It announced it on the commentary.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay. Yeah. 1941-1942 season when they won 3-0. Leeds have won the last 14 times that these two have met in the Cup.
Wow.
And I think it's something like Leeds have won 23 out of the last 25 with one draw. So they've lost once in the last 20.
Have you seen...
Twice in 26.
So obviously they had the power cut, didn't they?
Yeah.
Have you seen the meltdown that some people just big. It's
happens.
a disgrace to rugby league. It shows how poor. Well, yeah, because frigging whatever his name is, the owner of Wakefield, wired up the stadium, didn't he? He got
It's happened at the football.
like just yeah.
It
But
happens
it
everywhere.
was funny though.
Yeah.
What was the Leeds fans chanting? Where Leeds Rhinos will play in the dark.
Yeah.
That way it's
I
out. Yeah.
liked all the phone torches trying to light
All
up.
the phone touches, and then every single light come on at separate
Except one.
times. And you had a big yay when the first one come on, and then a louder cheer when the second one, and then a louder cheer. Yeah, it was
one bulb that was out.
maybe that blew, and that's what set it off. Maybe I don't know, but
Sharon Shortles mentioned it on the commentary. She was like, "There's one bulb that's out. There's one."
she
bulb.
did. Yeah, she did.
So-
But no, cracking game. One of the so far this season, one of the most enjoyable games as a neutral I've watched.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Thoroughly deserved from Wakey.
I'm going to quickly throw 1 point in before I get to the last one for the news, but just want to briefly mention that you will have seen today that we've had the disciplinary results come through. There's been a couple of people charged. There's been a few. I think Cal Felt's got 3 matches for a bad challenge.
3 matches.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ulland Rovers didn't really get picked up. Luckily, picked up a couple of points for us and so on. FC didn't seem to get picked up for much. I know there was the Asiata punch at the end of the game, which wasn't a punch, but that didn't even get referenced. Just want to make a point on this that actually I have to credit my dad for, because he told me on the way in. So credit to him for this. This weekend, there was no reviews of the video refs because the games wasn't televised. So everything has gone based purely on the referees' reports, written reports. And if they need to, then to come in and talk about them, if they have to drag them in for a further discussion. So they aren't able to review them and say that's what we saw. So it all comes down to what the ref said on the day.
Okay. Old school.
Bit old school.
Yeah.
Very much so, yeah.
And then the final point of news, and I was a bit hesitant to mention this, but I thought, why not? The rumours are flying around and it's going wild now and circulating about what's going on with this proposed NRL takeover of the Super League and the Rugby Football League. Whether it's both, whether it's just the Super League, whether it's a combination. I've seen a lot this week, or these last couple of days, sorry, coming in. I've seen this rumoured £250 million deal over 5 years, which is going to come in, that Peter Vlandez is doing X, Y and Z. And then the big one that I've just picked up now is that Martin Sadler had posted this and come in and said on one of the forums online and said that a lot of rugby league clubs are struggling financially and looking at different levels of insolvency, and that you'll take any offer that's given to you. And what he's saying is that it means you don't lead to good decisions in the long term. You make short-term decisions to try and get yourselves out there. Yep. And he says what it looks like is happening, again, pure conjecture, but I'll throw it in the news as potential, that the NRL want to offer a dozen, D-A-Z-N,
DAZN.
DAZN, is that we say? I always say that wrong.
Yeah.
DAZN, I think I've even got a thing with them, and I don't even know how to say it. A DAZN broadcasting deal for rugby league, so they become the sole broadcaster for the game worldwide.
Well, it was touted in the off-season that DAZN was going to take over from Sky.
Yeah, not the first time
Talk
I've heard
before
them.
the last deal as well that was signed with Sky.
It was, yeah.
It looks like that could be £100 million deal that's getting offered. So look, I'm not going to read through all that and all the other ones, but it really is a watch this space, because this is growing legs, it's growing real momentum. There's people talking about end of March decision needs to be made, which is round the corner. And I don't know where this is coming from, but it is, there's no smoke without fire. So we know something's happening. We know that Peter Vlandez has spoken. We've heard that apparently quite a lot of meetings happened whilst we was out in Vegas with specific officials. So
Well, he said he did say he was going to speak to Nigel Woods or representatives from this side of the.
I think they did last
so-
year as well, didn't they? It was quite a big thing made out of it last season when the Wigan game was on. But
It's going to be an interesting. I know we said it at the back end of last season with all the new teams coming in and new regulations and rules and that. It's going to be an interesting. It really is going to be an interesting. And whatever happens in the next few months is going to shape our game probably for the rest of our lives. Like it could go one way or it could go the other. I know it's an easy thing to say, but really is if this deal comes to light and comes through, then our teams that we love and support could secure them for the next 50, 60, 70 years.
yeah.
And if not, are we going to be struggling for the next 50, 60, 70 years? And it's going to be very interesting to watch and listen to coming up.
Speaking of Landis there, obviously he's made no qualms about it. It's not a secret. He wants to take rugby league global. The zone's Ukrainian, owned by a Ukrainian businessman. Obviously we have the Vegas Challenge or Vegas event, if you will. There's 5 cities that are touted for it further down the line, and they are London, which seems to be winning. But Martin Sadler said that's probably because it's mainly Brits
Right.
who've been voting on it and probably want to see NRL teams play in London. So it might be a possibility that we do play it in London at one point, but there's London, Miami, Tokyo, Dubai, and Hong Kong. They're the 5 that have been touted. So some of them places would be absolutely. Tokyo is on my bucket list, so if it's there, I'm going no matter what teams are there. Hopefully, Laura. So that's going to be really important to see if we can actually make our sport global, which will be
interesting. I remember seeing you guys might not have seen it. He was interviewed while out in Vegas, and he said, "No, Vegas is here to stay. This is our the main one. Obviously, we do want to expand to other places, but this is the main one. This is every year. This is amazing. Like we ain't going away from Vegas. Why would you go away from the entertainment capital of the world?
Why would you? Superb.
Well, right, well,
If
we'll
you missed
see.
out the biggest piece of news that there's been this week.
What, that Tessie Eubanks sees it?
Oh no! Can we go back to your dickhead of the week?
That.
Soon as he did that, the ball was still in play. They played wrecking ball over Tannoy. Absolutely
I
disgusting.
don't think I need to say. I just think I should get it on the sponsor thing that it's just Derek Beaumont every week.
Yeah. Lauren
ridiculous.
messaged me and she said, "Are they just taking the piss now or words to that effect?" They put something like challenger. I'm going to have to get it up, but basically it was testing you like play of the week or something like that. Tackle of the week, challenger of the week.
Yeah,
something
they go
like
man
that.
of the match, or whether they announced, and play of the game or something like that. Tessie News try saving tackle on so and so, and I'm like,
I'll find it.
Like,
Give me a sec.
why do you need to want to announce that all the time? But the music does my head in. Like they're playing music in every break of play, like it's the NFL. But it's and then that wrecking ball thing, like
So
just get a grip.
I'm struggling to find.
Anyways, let's wrap up the news.
Let's wrap it up.
News from around the world has been done.
Fuming.
Well, it's your time now anyway. Let's talk about Catalan. So why don't you drop it into that?
Yeah, why not?
Come on, we're doing well. Let's not get totally sidetracked.
I can't believe you missed it out, Josh. I'm fuming.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Alex Johnston breaking the NRL try-scoring record.
Oh, honestly, right, I'm not going to lie. I know it was early in the
See the
morning.
video and you put, nice.
I know, but that should have been in the news, you're right, but I was drunk.
Don't worry about it. So, yeah, he just broke the NRL. It's not a big deal. Yeah.
Can I do it in a cold, wet, rainy night in East London? So.
Westall. Even though they played in St Helens when they came over, but never mind. Yeah, this week, Catalan's away. Got to see more of the same. Getting used to our sort of plays, our run-throughs, getting back into the swing of things, and we've notoriously, I mentioned it last season, we've notoriously struggled in South of France, and I said that last season we went on to Tronson. So hopefully I'm just tempting fate here a little bit, and we'll come away with another win. But yeah, good to see nothing from the disciplinary for us. I don't think there's anything overly worrying on the injury front. So hopefully we can come away with what could be a crucial 2 points for us.
Yeah, I think it's a tough game. We've got more travel. You know, I really don't think we're going to get to settle down until the end of March once we play the Saints game. I think then we'll really get to see where we're at as a club and where we're at if we come out of that period as unscathed as you can. We know we're carrying a few injuries, obviously, which doesn't help. Catalans are as well. I think, you know, we had an easy game to not be disrespectful to Huddersfield last week, so that's nice going in.
I think they had them, didn't they?
An easy game against Oldham, looking 52-0 maybe.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I think it was in the 50s, yeah.
Yeah, so really, it's just that, can we travel over there? Can we get it done? Like I said, it'll be interesting how many fans we take. I know it's been a really, let's be honest, a tough period for Rovers fans, but in the best way possible.
An expensive period.
How expensive, you know. I missed last week with being in Berlin. I'm going to miss this week because someone's selfishly getting married. And so, well, it's... you
don't have to go.
No, well, there is that.
No, you don't have to go.
No, you're right. So, you know, people like me that aren't able to make it, but anyone that does, fair play to you, because there's so much going on.
There'll be some guys or girls that'll have gone to every game so far this season.
Oh, yeah.
I know of a couple that have.
That's unbelievable commitment.
And it's just is what it is. And I ain't got a lot to say other than I'm looking forward to it in terms of the fact that I think it might really be a bit of a springboard for our season. Not that we've had a bad season so far, obviously not, but from what I'm scared from 2 Huddersfield wins that have got us clicking again. Players seem to have recovered. They should be back on the normal form now. We've managed to put a few players into positions that have managed to step up. You know, Whitehead at weekend, Leyland getting to step up, bagging
full
himself a
40 minutes
try,
as
you know,
well,
getting to. And so actually, I can see us really giving him a good go. And hopefully, you'll see my predictions that I do fancy us for the win, but not massively. And we come away and go, right, now we finally get a home game after that. Saints, let's do Saints over. And all of a sudden, we'll be mid-table thereabouts, and everyone will be forgetting about that we was bottom of the league.
It's going to be a tough test.
Oh yeah,
It's,
no doubt about that. It's always tough in the south of France, no matter where you go.
I think they're just finding the feet. I think that result against Leigh a couple of weeks ago could be seen as a turning point for them. A shaky little start. I know they beat Huddersfield first game of the season, but a shaky little start. That win at Leigh is maybe a turning point for them. Obviously, they cemented it with a cup win last week.
So I was just going to mention that they had a relatively comfortable game for 58-0 against Oldham, was it?
They'll be targeting.
What was you doing? We've just had this discussion.
I was looking for that thing from Lauren.
They'll be targeting this game, and
a lot of teams will be targeting us this season.
Rightly so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But no, because they'll see this. If we can get one over on these this weekend, it could really set us up and push springboard us up that league. Because Catalan don't want to be down in the lower end of the table. No, he puts money into that squad, and he expects it top 3-4.
Look at what we did last year. They went to a Challenge Cup semi-final, which we beat them in, and it all spiralled and went downhill from there. And they end up not going to the playoffs. They ended up getting rid of McNamara. Tompkins came in. It really was a shocker for them, and they will not repeat that because he won't allow it.
He won't allow it.
And there is, before we move on, unless there's any more from you, Craig, on Rovers preview. There is one player that I'm a bit gutted about that's still carrying a knock for us, which is Desiree. Because I would have liked to have seen him go back and play against Catalan, but we're obviously yet to really see him do out for us because he's one of our players that you forget's injured. And it's a shame. So I'm looking forward to seeing him come in, and I thought he could be in line for a big game against them. But yeah, we won't get to see him still by the looks of it. So shame.
Yeah, no, nothing else from me. Just hopefully good performance. Hopefully come away with a win. Just quickly moving on then to our monthly sponsor. This month it's Liam and Danny, excuse me, who are doing the Coast to Coast in benefit of Alcohol Change UK. It's going to be a tough old slog, especially coming over the Pennines, where middle of nowhere, where there's not many places where they're able to stop, and obviously that's right in the middle of the journey. So just do whatever you can to support them, whether it's tweeting them, whether it's donating, just anything you can. If you see Liam or Danny, if you know them, give them a shout out, let them know that obviously you're thinking about them, and let's raise some awareness for a very, very important cause. And also, just moving on from that, if you do have anything in mind for our next sponsor, because obviously we're halfway through this period now, we're starting to look at a sponsor or a donation, should I say, for April.
Yep.
So if you've got any ideas, anything you want to nominate, give us a shout and we'll get back to you. Get in contact with us in all the usual places. Instagram, I think we've got an email, but I don't even think it's used, is it?
I'm not aware. Comment on YouTube.
Comment on YouTube.
Send us a message on the socials.
Jimmy, the guy used to sit there. He
used to. He's not anymore.
Yeah, he does track the emails, so we will receive emails.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we've had many, but that's what I mean. Like it's all on the socials. It's all YouTube, Instagram, Facebook Messenger. Just give us a shout out, and yeah, that's it.
So yeah.
See, I was trying to not do that.
Sorry. Right, on to us then for us, as in my team. I don't mean
little cheeky Sunday home game.
I know. I've got down here. Sunday afternoon game is a welcome change.
Stop stealing people's points, Josh.
I know. It's like Sunday fun.
You led me into it. It's fun. It worked out well.
Well, actually, I've lied there, haven't I? It's not going to be a Sunday fun day for you all.
It's going to be Sunday.
I didn't hear the fun day, mate. Just did the Sunday bit. No, I'm looking forward to a Sunday afternoon game. I do like it. It's a Sunday afternoon game. It brings back memories of when I first started going to the Boulevard, and it was always Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. kick. I think it was 3:15. We used to kick off at 3:15. Don't know why.
Got to allow for the national anthems and
whatever
stuff.
we've spoke about how we've gone last couple of weeks, and I don't see any change to that. The effort will be there. We'll put up a fight. I don't think that fight's going to be good enough to get anything out of the game, if I'm being totally honest. I think the most ardent LFC fan has struggled to back us this weekend. I'm struggling. I don't know. I don't know what he can change, what he's going to change, if he can change anything. All I can see is a Leeds win, and I think it'll be Leeds. I know we're going to do predictions soon, but I think it's going to be a 16-point win for Leeds.
I fancy. Well, do you know what? I've got 16.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get to that.
I'll have to put mine down then because I've got 16.
I fancy Leeds to be a bit of a wounded animal out for blood.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
I think, and it could turn a bit nasty in terms of. I'm not saying you'll just dismantle and fall apart and they'll put 40 past you. I think you are still do have too much fight in you in some ways for that. But I'm really struggling. If I would give you half a chance if Leeds hadn't been beat, maybe, because not everyone can win every game. That isn't how the real world works. But I'm concerned for you that because of the way they got beat to Waking, I think they'll be really bitter about that.
I think Brodie Croft's back on Sunday as well.
I think they will really fancy themselves to have a good cup run and to sort of almost go out of what I consider that round to be like the first real hurdle. To go out of that so disappointing for any club, but for Leeds who, turned us over in Vegas so well and have almost escaped the injury case better than a lot of teams, I really think they'll be on top of you, and I worry for FC. So obviously could prove us wrong, but I'm struggling to see it.
Stranger things have happened in sport, in rugby league, in any like line of sport, but yeah, I can't see anything but a Leeds victory on Sunday, unfortunately for us.
Do you know when the last time they won in the third round or got to the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup was, Leeds?
2020.
Correct.
They won it that year, didn't they?
And they won it that
Big
year.
Salford in the final.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last time they got to the quarterfinals, they went on to win it. They've lost every other fourth round, third round tie.
Well, Leeds fans won't be happy with that, will they? That's not a great.
I didn't realise until it was mentioned on the commentary. That's where I've just got it from. But
and maybe I'm just judging Leeds wrong in terms of how much they turned us over in Vegas, but it turns the pressure around on your season now, because that's gone. So now for Leeds to have a successful season, and don't look, I'm not saying they had a bad season last year, of course they didn't, but it means that pressure's ramped up a little bit to carry on, make sure you're in the playoffs, make sure you're up there. All right, they won it from fifth before, we know they did that, we never stop hearing the end of it, but it does ramp the pressure up, whereas as long as you're still in the cup, and it's different, the pressure ain't on you guys in the same way.
No, we're not expected to go win a trophy, but that Leeds fan base expect trophies.
Yeah.
At least one every year. There's anything other than a trophies class as an unacceptable season, I think.
Courtesy of you guys last year, look what happened to Wigan last year after you beat them in the cup. All eyes turned to that league immediately. Yeah. And then all Wigan fans would tell you was, we can still do this. And it went down to the wire in terms of the league leaders.
Poor from us, though.
Yeah, very poor. But the pressure ramped up on them. And I'm not saying they suffered under it, but the pressure will now ramp up on Leeds. And if they've got out about them and they're going to kick on, that's why I think, you could be insert the Ralph Wigan meme, chuckles, I'm in danger here. Being boys on Sunday.
I'm in danger.
Well, Craig's time to shine.
So it is.
Predictions time.
Voila. No recap this week then, because it was Challenge Cup last week. I only actually realised that when I was checking who was Yellow Cap and Wooden Spoon, and I'd seen that it was the same two people as last week, and I was like, shit, that's because it was Challenge Cup.
We could have a quick one, though, for me and you beating them two. Because we both backed Rovers and Leigh to win when we did our predictions.
I don't listen back, so I forgot what.
Jimmy said all bar 20.
On any other day, letting it have gone full length.
Jake Arthur wouldn't have turned around and ran the other way.
Yeah.
Started reversing like a dump truck. But yeah. Anyways, first game of the week then, Brick Community Stadium, Wigan versus York. Can't see anything as competitive as York have been. They were competitive last week against, not the Challenge Cup week, the week before against Warrington, 38-30, I think it was. Just can't see anything other than a Wigan win. I've got Wigan by 22.
I'm only going Wigan by 12.
Oh. I've gone, well, me and Jimmy have gone the same. Wigan by 20.
And I'm not sure if Susan sent me as yet. Yeah, well, I should be on the ball, but I've just come off nights.
Oh, he's hideous, isn't he? Sorry, it's just a picture of a presenter, an unnamed presenter just on a beach somewhere really warm.
With his the Tigers hat on.
Massive Tass Tigers fan.
Yeah.
That's why he's not actually here. He's joined a new podcast.
Barbados Super Knights.
Someone new Ford's podcast.
Yeah. Susan's also got Wigan by 20.
Oh.
So watch this space. It could either be Josh falls a little bit behind or Josh closes the gap a little bit.
Nobody said York didn't play last week, did they? There was a.
Yeah, the cup beat Heathley.
Yeah, did they?
58-10.
Yeah, I could be done over here by a weekend in Germany, couldn't I? Maybe I'm not thinking straight. Go, move on. I'm going Wigan by 12. I've committed now.
South of France then, Stade Ernest Wallon, Toulouse versus St Helens. I'm not sure which way this one's going to go. I'm really struggling with this one. Looking at what injuries St Helens have had, you probably have St Helens to run away with it usually, but I'm actually going to go with a Toulouse win by 6.
I've got Toulouse by 6.
Have you actually?
Yeah, I wrote them, but I changed them.
I haven't even got mine down, so I'm just...
I'm changing.
Ooh.
Because I wrote these out yesterday. I had to write them out because I said to James I'd written them out so he could send me his, so there was no... yeah.
Now he's
I've seen
Jimmy.
No, I've seen no. Jimmy's gone Saints by 8. I've seen Saints injury list, and obviously with the ban from Felt as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lose by 4.
And man isn't just based on.
I was Saints by 4, but and I've not put them on the predictions app, so I can change.
Yeah, fair.
I like what Toulouse are doing, and I like what I've seen out of them games so far. And I actually think it's a tough place to go. And it being there, I think plays into their favour. Yeah. And I actually, right, might be miles wrong. I fancy Toulouse for this. To win. Toulouse to win.
Toulouse to win, and that's confusing. When you just...
He wasn't on the ball with that, was he? He's normally on with that.
What did Susan do?
I've just come off nights. St Helens by 10.
Ooh.
Over towards Hull then, Bradford versus Huddersfield. Can't see anything other than a Bradford win. I've got Bradford by 14.
Got Bradford by 18.
Bradford by 16, and Jimmy's got Bradford by 13.
13, and Susan's got Bradford by 8. So Bradford across the board there. I don't think there's any.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a bigger scoreline, by the way. I think we've all played it a little bit safe with that.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. DIY Kitchen Stadium then for Wakefield versus Leigh. Again, another one where I'm a little bit, don't know. But I think I'm going to go Wakefield by 8.
I was more confident this one. I've got Wakey by 10.
Wakey by 8. And Jimmy's got Wakey by 10.
10. And Susan's got Wakey by 4. So Wakefield across the board there. Over to the Halliwell Jones, Warrington versus Cass for the first of the pre-mentioned Saturday games, I believe. I'm going to go Warrington by 20.
I got Wire by 10.
Wire by 28. And Jimmy has gone Wire by 18.
18. Susan's got Warrington by 16. Stade Gilbert Brutus then, over in Catalans. Catalans versus Hull KR. Hull KR by 8.
I've got KR by 12.
KR by 10. Jimmy's gone by 16.
Rovers by 16.
Yes.
Has he?
And Susan's got Rovers by 12. So Rovers across the board there, which is quite a surprise. Especially with Jimmy and his...
Well, a bit of Suns maybe seen him.
Maybe, yeah. He was bumping into that Dons fan, I think, in wherever he is.
Look, he's not here to defend himself, but I'll tell you all anyways. He downloaded the 7-part Rovers Renaissance documentary for his flight over.
What I watched.
And he's become an even bigger Rovers fan than he is, so that's why. He'll be so mad when he listens back.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
Don't out him on air.
Yeah, he swapped that shirt with a Dons fan as well. He swapped a City shirt for a Dons fan as well.
Well, there we go then. He's getting that
He'll
in
be
the neck.
more mad at that.
Yeah, I think so.
We're at Wimbledon, aren't we? That's all it is. Final game then, over at the Circle. No, I'll give it its proper name. The MKM Stadium. Hull FC versus Leeds. I've got Leeds by 14.
I thought I was going to say the Circle, no, I'll give it its real name, the MKM Circle. He didn't. I said I've got Leeds by 16.
Leeds by 16. Jimmy's gone Leeds by 18.
18, and Susan's got Leeds by 16. So, again, same across the board, and the results are very similar, just 4 points separating that one. We'll be back next week with a recap and a Wooden spoon and a yellow cap update.
Fantastic. Right. Well, hopefully you are going to get to see this podcast. The pressure is now mounting on Dean, as
Well,
we've
I'm
explained.
going to Jimmy's after this, and it is now time, nearly 7 o'clock. So I've got to get this done and set out to release on Wednesday morning because I haven't got time tomorrow because I'm absolutely chocker at work. So I'll be there till whatever time. I'm going to order myself a takeaway as well.
Right, treat yourself.
Be by, yeah.
So if you do get to see this and get to watch and listen to it, then it will be in big part to Dean as well on this one.
I will take the credit as well.
Yeah.
He
But
says
if it
he's
goes
going to be
wrong,
chocker tomorrow. We're not going to hear from him. We'll pop round to Jimmy's and he'll just be vegged out on the bed, covered in takeaway, doner meat and pizza slices everywhere.
So yeah, fingers
Empty
crossed.
popcorns.
Fingers crossed it comes out. So before we go, I just say as always, thank you very much as always to our sponsor, Comscaff. And thank you to Tribal, the home of the pod, for homing us, providing us with beverages, and just being very helpful in letting
All
us.
around generally nice people.
Yes, for letting us come here and do this. We do appreciate that. Please remember, if this does come out, that whatever platform you watch and listen to this on, to like, subscribe, but particularly it's all about the subscribers and the hype on YouTube. And as always, don't forget, share an episode with a mate and leave comments. Get in touch with us. You know, we're doing a better job, I think, at talking about them now. So that's what we want. So yeah, from me, ready for bed. See you, bye.
Me too. See you, bye.
see you, bye.